Hey y'all, welcome to episode 76 of Life Unmedicated. I'm kind of in between things, but I want to get this done now because I'm kind of doubtful that it'll happen later. And it's already been like 2 days. So, yeah, today we're just going to talk a little bit about some recurring themes and also like check in with the goals and just kind of recap the past couple days. It's been decent. Today I feel fine. Yesterday I felt terrible. I felt really down. And Tuesday, was that Tuesday? Tuesday I felt really down as well. My house is a mess, so that probably has a lot to do with it. But I haven't really been able to focus enough to like clean up. So, like, I've wiped stuff down and kept things like sanitary, but like I have a lot of like picking. I've just kind of like taken clothes off, left them places. I haven't unloaded my dishwasher, so I got like hella dishes in the sink. And I'm not. I do have OCD, so there's like a degree to which things are. I mean, I wouldn't even call it dirt. I don't do dirty. No judgment. I just I'm not able to do dirty. Messy is what I experience because like I said, I'll like take clothes off and leave them on this chair. Or like the dishes in the sink, I find that messy. I rinse them off. There's not like stuck on food or anything, but I don't like having dishes in the sink. Um, my shoes, there's like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, about 7 pairs of shoes uh, in my little foyer area. Um, and like I just need to pick them up, put them in their boxes, and put them back in my shoe closet. So, like, well, it's not a shoe closet. I'm not gonna hype it. It's the closet where my shoes go. Um, so there's just things that are not in the place that they belong, and so it's messy and it's jumbled, and I feel like it's kind of affecting my mental. So I really need to like. The longest it can go is Saturday because I do have to work tomorrow. Um, but I don't have any plans for Saturday, so I probably will get it done on Saturday. But aside from that, excuse me. Aside from that, it's been really difficult having these like serious mood swings. It's really hard. I don't like it, and I know that like taking my Adderall was helpful in that because it's hard to explain, but one of the things that Adderall does is it like increases your serotonin, which is like your happy chemical. Thank you. So I do feel imbalanced on some days, and I try to do things that naturally boost my serotonin, but like considering the other transitions that I'm making in my life, there are not a lot of things that I can lean on or lean on for that kind of like guaranteed serotonin boost. Um, Dang, not my clip completely coming out. So it gets frustrating because I really hate, like when I feel good, when I have a good day, I feel very motivated. I feel very excited, even like I would say looking forward to however, the future or whatever. Not that like when I feel sad I feel like I'm not looking forward to the future, but it is very disheartening. It is very discouraging. Um I start to feel like I try to use my own tools, like just staying in the moment, not really worrying about how I'm gonna feel tomorrow. But it's difficult because I have goals that I want to reach, and I'm always thinking like, well, dang, I feel good today. Let me take advantage of it. But if I can't be consistent, then I'll never reach the goals that I want to reach. regardless of what goal it is, losing weight, opening up a business, getting things done at work, like it doesn't even matter. If I can't sustain enough motivation to motivate my enough positivity to motivate myself, like what's it all about? You know what I'm saying? So that can be discouraging sometimes, and I know that I usually suffer from seasonal depression, and I know that that started for me when I was younger, because school would always start back in September, and I realized as an adult that that was kind of what set off my seasonal depression, and then as an adult, um, it took me years to kind of figure out like that was what was going on. But also, I really don't know what came first, like the chicken or the egg, because I remember when I was younger, I used to, like every year, literally every September, I would run away. Literally, like from when I was probably like 11, or I don't know, actually younger than that, because I remember I ran away to my mom's car one time. Like I just went and hid in the car, and we lived in this place, and we only lived there until I was like 12, but that was well before we moved. So that I had to be like 10 maybe or 9. And I remember every year I would run away, and like I would get really sad. I mean, it was very like these were very brief. Like the longest time, I think one time I ran away to my grandma's house and I stayed there for a little while, but like maybe some weeks, I think. But usually I would stay away for like the night. But like I would get so upset that I would literally leave my house without my mother's knowledge and go hide somewhere because I was feeling so bad. And this would happen every September. So then, like, I realized this. I realized the pattern as an adult. But then when I moved to California, it was August of 2020. And if I was going to get over it, that might have been the year, because I think I had just realized it maybe in like 2018, 2019. But not only was there COVID, but I had moved 3,000 miles away from home. So I was really sad. I was homesick. There were things going on with a very significant relationship in my life that really took a toll on my mental health. And I think that, just every fall, it's just a trigger for me every single fall, no matter how good I'm feeling. So there's always that underlying, and now that I'm not taking my medication, I don't have that serotonin boost. And so I find myself in and out of, just slipping in and out of depression. And it can literally be like for a day or 2 days. It can be for like a morning, and then I feel better in the evening. And it's not just that I'm sad, it's like a feeling that I have that's very familiar. And I mean, I'm grateful that it is a rapid thing, but at the same time, it's frustrating. And I feel like even the days that I do feel good, I still am experiencing depression. So I'm not saying like it goes away, because that's not really how that works. But some days I can cope easier than others. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to kind of figure out that. And I'm trying to like use the tools that I know help me, like staying on a routine, making sure I'm working out. Eating well is a really big thing, and I have not really been doing good at that. So I'm just really trying to like, and I'm praying on it, obviously, because if anybody could help, it's God. So, I am just trying to use my tools, use them well, and remember them. This weekend, I'm definitely going to go get out into nature. I didn't do that last weekend, and I do feel like that has had an impact. So I have to be like more serious about doing that. So I'm definitely going to do it this weekend, like 100%. So, and then, I was about to talk about something else. It was kind of a segue. What did I just say? I don't even know. I'm sorry. But aside from that, oh yeah. So yeah, eating poorly. Let's slide into goals. So far this week, I have, where's the goals at? I have worked out 4 times. I worked out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and yesterday. So that's good. I did not start the metabolic plan. Eating well 5 days. Well, I did not eat well 3 out of 7 weekdays, so that's going to be a no. Finish notes and finalize treatment plans. I have one more treatment plan to do. Choose lodging and finalize itinerary. I did that. So, I'm not going to hit the 5-day eating well thing. I will finish the note and treatment plans before the end of the week. And I may or may not start that metabolic plan. We'll see. So we'll see. I mean, I feel like I'm making decent progress towards my goals. I'm at 2 out of 5. I should definitely be at 3 out of 5 by the end of the week. Maybe even 4. What was the other one? Maybe. We'll see. But anyway, aside from that, there was a situation at work yesterday where one of the doctors posed a question that was very ostracizing to Black people. The question was like, he said that one of his patients asked him like, why does Black people's hair grow like that, or why Black people hair like that? And he said that it was an African American patient of his. Now, mind you, I didn't really have an issue with the question, although I don't really understand the clinical relevance. But I feel like I have mixed feelings when it comes to race relations at work. Part of me feels like if you can't ask the tough questions, then we'll never move forward. I don't know if those tough questions have to do with hair, but it speaks to the overall feeling of, is this a safe space to ask certain questions and not be judged? Because there are questions that I feel like need to be answered. Is hair one of them? I don't think so. But I wasn't gonna get upset. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna get upset, and I definitely didn't want to be like the angry Black woman. It's hard to voice your opinion, not even opinions, but like to voice your discomfort with certain things without being like labeled or looked at like you're angry or like people gaslighting the hell out of you. And those are things that I have to consider before I even speak my mind, because knowing myself, like I'm saved, I'm very saved, but there are certain things that will piss me off quickly, and that's one of them. And I don't expect to be accosted at work like that. Hold on, sorry. I don't expect to be accosted at work, at all. And I'm not saying that he was accosting me. I'm saying that if I were to have responded in a way that was seen as aggressive to someone, for them to call me aggressive, that would be accosting. I don't expect that. So I didn't even want to put myself in a situation to receive that type of backlash or gaslighting. So I just kind of answered the question the best way I knew how. And like I said, I didn't find the question disrespectful. I found it a little insensitive and maybe inconsiderate. I feel like if you want to study African American history, like you can do, because his question was coming from like is there some type of evolutionary reason for it? So like Google is right there. And so I didn't have an evolutionary reason for it. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I didn't have that. And so I told him what I've learned and what my lived experience. The other Black woman in the group shared her lived experience. But that wasn't enough. And this is where we get into the problem. We shared our lived experiences. That wasn't enough for you. So you decided that you wanted to share what you got from Google. It's borderline, but it's okay. It's okay. I wasn't necessarily tripping. I didn't really think it was necessary, but it didn't piss me off. I didn't really get pissed off until one of the other doctors decided that they wanted to put into ChatGPT, why do Blacks have hair like that? And I don't fare well with the term Blacks. It's very dehumanizing and I would venture to say degrading. It's 2023 Negro. You know what I mean? So it's like, first of all, you have to be a little more culturally competent to know like not to use that terminology. And at a certain point, I think, and the other Black woman in the group too, like we discussed it at length afterwards with the third Black woman who's in the group, and she was just out of the office at that time yesterday. But yeah, so we all discussed it. It just, at a certain point, I kind of dissociated a bit because, but I was facilitating the conversation. Like, I was facilitating the meeting that day. So I couldn't dissociate but so much. And then I found myself a little too dissociated. I was all my microphone was on and I was making comments and I had to like kind of get myself together. But it was just difficult to go through that and to have all these things in my head, and I have to sit there with a smile because like I have to convince myself that I'm okay so that I don't go off on nobody, you know? And I hate that for me. I hate that for us because I know I'm not the only person who experiences that. And we did address it today at today's meeting because we validated each other, and also like there was another psych intern who is not black. I believe she's Eurasian. Um, she reached out to both of us and asked if we were okay because even she was uncomfortable. So that was very validating for me, and so I felt that it was appropriate to, share my piece and how uncomfortable it made me. And the other black women, or both black women that were in the group, they, even though one of them was not there, she usually facilitates. So she said that she was going to bring it back up today, and we both got to speak our piece. And it was a little nerve wracking. I don't do well with like confrontation. Although like I just, you gotta do what you gotta do. So like I will get it out the way, but I don't like confrontation. I don't even like being put in situations like that. But the doctor who put the thing in Chat GPT and who was using the term blacks just over and over again, he apologized, and his response seemed like he genuinely received what we had to say and that he was going to do better moving forward. The gentleman who brought the topic of discussion to the group in the first place, I think it completely went over his head. Although I don't have an issue with his question, I do feel like you have to be more cognizant and more considerate when you're asking questions that ostracize a group of people. Like, this can go left very quickly, which it did. So, I don't necessarily think any of it was intentional, but I think that as MDs and as psychiatrists and therapists, like, we have to be competent in a cultural manner. We have to be cognizant of our declarations and our comments that can have major impacts on the people that we're supposed to be treating. And that was my main concern, because I feel like if you're saying that to me, what are you saying in your sessions? And that's why a lot of black people don't want to see non-black providers. And it's unfortunate because we are few and far between in my field. And I'm a therapist, I'm a social worker, but these are psychiatrists with MD behind their name. So it's kind of like there are a lot more social workers that provide therapy that are black, but there are way less MDs. So it just becomes disheartening because it's like that's just another way of like ostracizing us and making us feel like we can't get the help that we need because we can't find a provider who's going to be culturally competent enough to provide adequate care. And I feel like at the end of the day, the conversation was well received. We got a lot of messages of support after the meeting. I do kind of wish that people would have voiced their support during the meeting because it was really crickets, and it kind of seemed like people were afraid to like say that they supported what we were saying until afterwards in the group chat, which I think that could come from an array of different places. I don't think that anyone was doing it maliciously, but it would have been nice to have that support while we were like still talking, because the next topic of discussion was a banger. Everybody wanted to talk about it. So, we were kind of just sitting there quiet, like, oh, okay, now y'all want to talk. It's cool though. It's fine. I'm not tripping. I feel like I'm just glad that nobody came out the mouth with some wild stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. It's totally fine now. But, all that to say that during this encounter, during this experience, there were so many things going through my head, and all I could do was sit there like this. Like that's all I could do because I knew that like if I started making faces, I can't like the impulsivity part of things, which I've been having a really hard time with lately. My impulsivity might get the best of me, so I really just had to plaster my face, like, and um, how do you combat impulsivity in a situation that could cost you your job? But at the same time, you want to stand up for what's right and you want to stand up for yourself. So how do you balance that? Like, how do you balance that? I know I don't think I should necessarily have to. You know, it shouldn't fall on me, the person who is being ostracized, but it does, unfortunately. So like dealing with the there's just a lot of intersectionality here, you know, being black, being a woman, having ADHD. Like, there's so many things that are, I don't want to say working against me because I love, I love being a black woman. Having ADHD, it can be fun sometimes. That's the most positive thing I can say about it right now. But it's difficult to operate as a black woman and then have the added component of like impulsivity. Sometimes I don't understand social cues. Sometimes I misunderstand people. So like, am I tripping right now or am I not tripping? You know, that's always a question in my mind. Like, did I misunderstand something? No one else seems to be having a reaction. What's going I mean, no one else except for like the other black women in there. And then like I could see looks of confusion on other people's faces, but also sometimes I don't read social cues that well. That could just be their face. So it's hard, you know, like it's difficult when you have, you know, some already intersectionality, some pre-intersectionality, and then you have bring in another factor. But anyway, I mean, I feel like that, you know, I the more you experience things, the more you know, obviously. Like, my mom always said experience is the best teacher, and I 100% believe that. I think that a general rule of thumb for me is just gonna be that, like, I take some time to digest things and then come back to it when it's not as fresh. Because when things are fresh for me, I tend to only see it in the way I received it, and sometimes that has caused me issues. So I think that I did well by part of me thinks I did well by not responding in the moment, but another part of me feels like a race traitor because I just sat there and let them people talk about me to my face like that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to get down on myself about it because I think we all know that black people cannot get away with the same things that other races get away with. And had I said something rude or aggressive or untoward, I might be looking at being jobless. So, you know, I have some feelings about that too because, well, I'm not even going to get into it. I have some feelings about that too. And I'm sure y'all can guess where I'm going with it. I don't really want to get into it because I honestly I don't really think I have the mental bandwidth to even like address that because it's not going to change. I need my job. Things are expensive right now. So, you know, it is what it is. I think I handled it well. And moving forward, you know, we got to know better and we got to do better. So, I mean, aside from that, everything else has been fine. I'm just trying to make it. I'm at a point of surviving. I can't wait to thrive. I'll just say that. But as always, thank y'all so much for joining me. I am going to continue to do my very, very best to, you know, to record at least every other day, twice a week at the least. So, yeah, I hope y'all have a great night.